Hey friends, it's Joy here and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a really awesome day today. So I finally got to the super cute Simon Says Stamp limited edition Happy Mail kit, which is still available. So here is what you get in the kit. You got these cute odds and ends pieces and they are really darling. It's 3 little mini envelopes, a cute little zipper bag, and it's really cute on the inside. Then you have some glue, some cute little like confetti hearts, a die that says I think I'll keep you, which is really darling, a cute little sentiment strip sheet, a regular envelope, you've got some patterned paper, really darling patterned paper, a stencil, a nice heart stencil, your mini slimline envelope, your cute, super cute stamp set, and a little, oh, I can't even think what it's called, but it's for like a shaker card. And then of course your cardstock. So I made 3 cards out of this, and really I wanted to show how to stencil your background, really kind of for scenery cards. The 3rd card really isn't a scene card, but I wanted to use a little images. So the first 2 cards are scene cards. This first one I'm going to be doing some Copic coloring. I'm using images from the stamp set. I'm going to be doing some masking because I don't have the dies for this. But I'm not going to overlap anything. So this is really a super easy masking technique for a scene card. So as you can see, none of my images are overlapping. I just kind of have them laid out how I want to. Then I'm stamping some masking paper and I'm going to trim that out with my scissors. Now, when you're trimming out to mask an image, you want to trim right on the black line or even like right on the inside of the black line. I do it right on the black line, so that way when you place this mask over your stamped image, you're not going to have like a little white halo around because it's not going to go past your stamped black image on your background piece. So I'm just going to finish trimming out these images, and then I will just peel off the release paper to adhere those to the images we already stamped down. This is Simon Says Stamp's masking paper. Now I've never used any other masking paper, and I don't have a problem with this, especially like ink blending over it. It's not an issue. I am always a little careful when I'm ink blending over like the edges, just because I don't want it to lift up, but really it works out just fine. So I'm going to get these last 2 little images. Speaking of these images, this stamp set has such cute images. It has a ton of food images, which I really love, but I opted to use the little bunny, the little snail, and the mail truck. So now I'm coming in with Fawn's stencil. This is the Grassy Hills stencil. It's a stencil and a masking stencil. So here's the part where I'm going to stencil. I'm going to come in with Twisted Citron and Mowed Lawn to add some grass at the bottom. I'm just going to add a little bit of the Mowed Lawn towards the bottom so it's just a little bit darker. I'm using my blender brushes for that, just to get a nice good little blend, not hard, super simple. But I love these kind of masking stencils. It makes doing your image so much easier. So I'm going to clean off my Waffle Flower mini stencil mat. This really helps your paper to not slide around, which is really nice. So I'm going to line this up. Now this is the masking part, and I'm going to come in with some antique linen as my ground that really the truck is going to be on, maybe the little bunny's kind of standing on. So I'm just going to blend that on, and as you can see, that masked off the grass nicely. Now this stencil here was from one of Simon Says Stamp's card kit. It was like their cute little frog card kit, but I did link a different slimline cloud stencil for you because that's what this is. So I'm going to do clouds at the top, and I'm using Speckled Egg Distress Oxide ink. The other inks that I used were also Distress Oxide inks. So I'm going to start there at the top. I'm going just a little bit darker there. And then I'm going to move my stencil down and just build these clouds. And I'm kind of sliding this stencil back and forth. Now I am making a mini slimline card here, which measures 6.5 by 3.5. But this white panel I'm working on is 6 by 3. So a lot smaller than a traditional slimline, which is 8.5 by 3.5. So I finished off the clouds there. Well, excuse me, I've got one more set of clouds. And I think the scene is already coming together. So now that that back's done, I'm just going to gently peel off the mask, and we are going to do some Copic coloring on these super cute little images. But as you can see, we already have kind of this cute little scene. I am going to add some more details to the grass and to the dirt when I'm all done coloring. So for the truck, I'm using the red combination of R35, 37, and 39, which I really like this. I feel like it's a really good, kind of a true red. Not really orange, not really blue. You know, you tend to kind of lean towards those colors with your red, but I think this is kind of like a true red. And then I'm coloring the rest of the truck a nice blue. So this is B95, 97, and 99. And I like this blue and red combo. This isn't, like, you could do this for Valentine's Day. And I think that's kind of what this kit was for, especially was for Valentine's Day. But I think you could use this stamp set especially for anniversaries and things like that, because it has a lot of pairs and a lot of cute little things about, you know, the other person that you love. And so I just think that's really, really a lot of fun. Now in this, on the stamp set, this is the Happy Mail stamp set, which I do have listed below. I have the card kit listed, but I also have the individual components that are for sale listed. So I'm going to do a blue hat, add some red to these little critters. And for the tires, I am using C4, 8, and 6. I like that for black. And then C2 and 4 for the center. And then BG10 for the windows. So in this stamp set, it's got a cute rainbow, a rain cloud with hearts, 2 like wine glasses, a little teddy bear, a bike, a heart with an envelope, like a heart balloon with an envelope, which I'm using one of the cute little images, the little odds and ends images for that. A couple little cookies, a couple mugs, a little envelope with hearts. I mean, really, really cute images on this stamp set. Now for this bunny, I'm doing W1, 3, and 5 for his cute little body. And I'm just blending. I like to add the lightest color, then I come in with the dark, then the medium, and then just kind of blend everything out. I'm also going to be doing R00 and R20. R20 for the cheeks and R00 for the inside of his little ears. I will come back in with W1 at the base of his ears, inside the pink, just to kind of soften that pink up a little bit. And there I am adding the red. A little bit of C1 to the envelope and around that little heart, little speech bubble with the heart from the snail. And then I like to come in with the W5 and add a few dots, little dot detail on the bunny. And I'm not sure if I did that yet or if I cut that out. For the snail, I did YG 61, 63, and 67, and then G94 and E35. I did a little bit of the E35 dots on his cute little green body, and then a little bit of R20 for his cheeks. Now I'm going to do his little snail home. And for the satchel, I did E33 and E35. They're cute little mail bags. And these little characters are just coming together. Then here's the BG10 for that window. It makes it look like glass rather than just kind of leaving it blank. Now I'm coming in with those same colors. I'm leaving a little snail trail behind him because I thought that'd be really cute. Then I'm going to add some little tufts of grass. I just felt like this still looked very one-dimensional. And so I just added little tufts of grass all around. And I'm going to layer that with 2 different types of colors, kind of a little bit darker at the base of those. Then I'm going to come in with the E35 and E33 to add some little detail to the ground. So a little bit of dot detail just adds so much interest to your images. And so you can kind of jazz up your stenciling this way with some Copic markers or colored pencils or, you know, whatever it is that you're going to use. I'm going to add a little bit of dot detail in the grass, and then I decided I'm going to add some more of the little grass detail to that little stenciled part. And I think this just finishes it off really, really nicely. And I think it's coming together great. This is really a super cute card. Now I have this in my mini Misty, and I'm going to use the sentiment that says, "You make me smile," from that Happy Mail stamp set, of course. And I'm just trying to figure out where I want it lined up. And I'm going to just stamp this in black ink. You could do some heat embossing, and that would be really, really cute too. But I just thought the black ink, it will keep it nice and simple. And this really is a one-layered card, which is really funny because I don't really make one-layer cards. I'm going to use a piece of white cardstock to mat behind that, and then a craft card base that measures 6.5 by 3.5. Now in the kit, you get this little container full of these little red like confetti hearts. And I am most definitely in love with these. I use them on every card, and it was really fantastic. Also, I finally got the crystal katana little tool here for picking up these little things. And I've had a jewel picker before, and I'm not unhappy with it, but so far this has been fantastic. This picks up so good. And then the other end, you've got that little pointer thing to help kind of move your stuff where it needs to go. So I have that listed and linked below too, because if you don't have that, you need it. It is really fabulous. So I'm going to come in with a few more details. I've got my black glaze pen, of course, for the little eyes on the critters, which is really, really darling. I'm going to let that dry before I add some white detail to the eyes, but I will use my white gel pen for highlights on these other images, on the truck, on the hearts, on the little bunnies. I added some cheeks, some little dots on the cheeks and on the snail, and then I will come in and add some white dots to their eyes. And then that card is finished, and I think it's so cute. Such a simple scene that you can create with stencils. Okay, on to the next one is going to be a regular slimline, but it measures 8 by 3. I'm using some pixie spray, which is really important for this type of stencil, and I'm using Waffle Flower's Sunburst Stencil. Now, obviously you can tell that this is a 6 by 6 stencil, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to show you how we're going to work around that. So I have that kind of centered in the card panel, but a little bit off to the right. I'm using squeezed lemonade and spiced marmalade for the colors. Now I'm going to go really dark in that center and work out softly. I don't want a straight finish line at the end of the stencil where you have that kind of square holding the stencil together, if that makes sense. So I'm letting it fade out before I get to that end. So I'm being really careful to let that be soft at the end for a couple reasons. Then I'm coming in with that spiced marmalade. I made it really dark and kind of darker more towards the bottom. Coming back in and just lightly going over. I'm not re-inking my brush, but I'm going over so the white between is not so stark. Now I'm using My Favorite Things Cloud Stencil. Now I thought my stencil was clean but just stained, and it was not. So my yellow is turning a little bit green at the top, but it actually ends up being just fine. It actually works out fine in the design. So you can see how I'm going to run these clouds into those sun rays. That's going to make up the difference because this was not a slimline stencil. So you're not going to have just that ending of the sun rays. It makes sense that it's going into the clouds. So that is really super, super helpful. I'm just flipping this around, kind of going over each part really kind of light, going just part way over where this next to the sun. I don't want to go over the sun, but just a little bit around. And then as I work towards the bottom, that's when I'm going to bring in the spiced marmalade. That top part was squeezed lemonade, and then this bottom part is spiced marmalade. I really love how this background turned out. I think it turned out so super pretty, and it's really fun. And then when I use the images from the little odds and ends from the card kit, those colors are completely different, but it just pops in such a good way. So now that I'm finished, I'm just going to finish inking that bottom, and then we've got our background. Now I'm going to trim out the sentiment. Now you could do some foiling on this, like with your Mink machine, but I opted to not do that. I really didn't want a foiled image on this. I kind of felt like that would be out of place. So I'm just trimming it out and letting it be a black and white image. And I really like it. I think it's super, super cute. So this sentiment says, I think I'll keep you. There's tons of cute sentiments on there, but for some reason I just really liked this one. Now I am going to cover up the sun because I don't want that to be the focal point. I want this cute balloon image to be the focal point. This is one of the stamps in the stamp set, this image right here, which is really cute. And then you've got these super cute clouds. Some of this I'm popping up with foam tape. Definitely the sentiment's going to be popped up with foam tape. Then I'm going to add these other clouds, and I'm letting these images kind of go off the side, and I will trim that off, but that makes your image look larger. It doesn't look like everything's just kind of floating in the center. Then I'm going to come in and add a little bit of detail to these already made images. So the black glaze pen to the eyes. I will come back in again after that's dry and add the white gel pen to that. I will do some white gel pen highlights to the clouds and the balloon. And then of course I'm going to come in and use these super cute little red heart confetti pieces. And I'm just going to add a ton on this card. I feel like that pop of red is a lot of fun. But you can see what I was saying before with this being kind of a fun orange and yellow background, and then you have these pops of blue and pink and red. It really goes nicely together. So I'm just using that crystal katana to just place my little hearts in, and I like to place them down first to kind of make sure, for me personally, I like to see it ahead of time, and then I will come in and glue them down. And of course I had to add a few more because I just felt like it needed that. But I think that background is so fun and super easy with the stencil. I am going to adhere this to a white slimline card base, which is 8.5 by 3.5. And then I'm going to come into those eyes now that that black glaze pen has dried, and adding just some little dots. And that just kind of brings their little face to life. Like, all those little details really matter when you're making your card. And then this slimline card is finished. Okay, so for our third and final card, this is not a scene card, but I really wanted to use this stencil, and it's just really super cute. So I am using Festive Berries and Kitsch Flamingo on this stencil. Now this is the stencil that comes in the kit. I do have this listed and linked below. So I'm starting at the top with Festive Berries. Then I'm going to blend in the Kitsch Flamingo, but I am going to leave the bottom part white. So definitely doing an ombre because I want to ground these super cute little images that I'm going to put at the bottom. And I'm going to use a cute little elephant and a bird that comes in those little odds and ends pack in the card kit. So see how I left that white because, again, I needed a little bit of grounding, but it's a super fun stencil. I love it. Now here's that super cute die that says, "I think I'll keep you." I'm die cutting the shadow part from white, and then the other part from, I think this is Cherry Pop cardstock from Cardstock Warehouse. Normally something like this I would die cut multiple times, but I'm not going to. I will pop this whole thing up with foam tape, but I'm also, that cute little red heart that's on there, I'm going to pop that up with foam tape. And I thought that that would be a cute little addition to this. So just using some liquid glue and my reverse tweezers to just hold that in place so I can glue it. And I think that's a super cute sentiment. Here's that little heart that comes with the "I think I'll keep you." Well, it's part of the die. It doesn't come with it. It's part of the die. And I popped that up with foam tape. And then I've got that cute little elephant. He's so darling. And that little bird, I was trying to figure out where the heck to put this little bird. And I'm going to pretty much pop everything up with foam tape. Everything on this is going to have some dimension. So I want to get that elephant down first. And then I decided, you know, I'll just push that sentiment up a little taller and then add that cute little bird at the bottom. So I'm going to tuck that behind that little elephant's ear. I do want it to overlap a little bit. And then this cute little bird. And then of course I'm going to finish off with those little heart confettis. But I also want to use some glossy accents on the heart, on the sentiment, and then the heart that little elephant is using, because that's just going to add a little extra something, and glossy accents is so pretty. But definitely let this dry overnight before you try to stick it in an envelope. Black glaze pen for the eyes, of course. I'll wait for that to dry and then add some white. I'm going to add those little hearts to the chests of the little guys because I thought that would be super cute to add a little detail to them. And then, of course, just a little scattering on this card. I'm not going to overdo it like I did that last card. Almost finished on this. And if you guys are really liking these videos, please subscribe to my channel. Definitely comment. I love to talk with you guys about this. I appreciate your comments so much. Share if you can, that would be super helpful. I do have some affiliate links and that costs you nothing, but that does help me. So thank you guys for that. I almost forgot I needed to do the little eyes, so I'm going to add those there, and then this card is done. Isn't that so darling? I just loved this card kit. So super cute. Again, this is the limited edition Happy Mail card kit from Simon Says Stamp. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope you have a really great day, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.